Woohoo! How are you? How would you like to see what is going to be coming up with court for Santa on November the 7th of 2022. Hold on. Here we are. Sorry about that. I forgot to mute it before we started. So I have it that way so I can read comments if anybody has any comments, and we're just going to start out here and see what we have. Let me see. Is that a little bit better lighting? Alrighty. So if you look at the red is Santa. If you look at the blue is court. We have 12 different houses, and Santa, being a Taurus, he's put into the first house. And then the planets where they were on his day of birth. Now, I had already done a little bit of figuring for the other charts that I had done for Santa. Like one of them here, this is what was going on in September. If you haven't seen what's going on in September, you might want to go and listen to that on my YouTube channel. I won't get into that right now because I'm sure everybody's wondering what's going to happen with Santa in court. And first indicator when we're dealing with court, the possibility of going to jail, court, we're going to look at the 9th and the 12th houses. So you have the 9th and you have the 12th. And you can see by the colors in there of red and blue that there are some planetary activity that is going on in those houses. Now, the 9th house is higher learning, long distance travels, also legal. And then in the 12th house, it's jails, institutions, hidden enemies, secrets, and we know there's a lot of stuff that's going on in behind the scenes. So Santa, his Mercury falls in the 12th house. So he's going to be talking about, his court hearing, what's going on. And then you have Chiron, the wounded healer, in there, and it's like, let me see, what did you do wrong? And how are we going to remedy what you did wrong? And Pumpkin, I see your question of Santa going to jail. What is the scriptural basis for what you are doing? I caution you to be very careful and spiritually solid when doing this. Penia, I am a born mystic. My birth date 3/3/1958, numerology in 11. And genius hinges on insanity only when you're not true to yourself. So I have learned that when I do readings, it is what comes through me. It is not of me. So in doing this, it is the words flowing through, and it is what it is. And if you want to get that Bible out and go and look at the birth of Jesus and understand that it was the wise men who followed the stars to pay homage with frankincense and myrrh and gold, and we wonder why. So I'm not going to ruin the excitement leading up to is he or isn't he, because basically he's going to have to make a decision on if he wants to take a plea bargain or not. So, hey, flower child, how is ya? So I'm going to keep going and go with the flow. So if I miss your question and I don't answer it, please, make sure that you ask it again. But I just didn't want to say, right off the bat that he is or will be going to jail because on that day, because he's going to have to make the decision. And it is going to be a hard one for him to make. And looking at the planetary and what's going on, whether he makes it that day or whether it's postponed, I do see that if it's postponed, that it will be a harsher sentence if he is going to postpone it rather than taking the plea bargain and let's do this and get on with this. And I mean he's gonna do time. He willfully committed a crime, and that is the whole context surrounding the law and the legal side of, if he did not willingly break the law, because they have to follow the rule of laws. So, hey, he did something bad and now he's going to be communicating as to, okay, what is it? And it's in Aries. So, we're talking, okay, quick, let's do it. Let's get on with the show. And he better really get on with the show, because if you're looking down here at the 11th house, and here I'm gonna use my pointer again. So if you're looking at the 11th house, and that's in Pisces, and hopes and wishes, and with Jupiter in retrograde, going back into, going away from, it would be best to, take his time now, serve his time now, and take that plea bargain, because it's not going to get any better. Because yeah, Jupiter is retrograde, but it's going to be going direct, and that means Jupiter is going to be multiplying, going back into the 12th house. So it's not going to be getting any better. And what he is, there you have Chiron and Saturn. That's Santa's. The red is Santa, and the blue is the date. So planets are down here on the bottom, constellations are on the side. So you could take a big I was sorry, I was reading that big difference in astrology and astronomy. And yeah, I can agree with that. And astrology nowadays is a lot of, people looking at and their interpretation of, but you also have to remember that hindsight is foresight. So, let me see. People don't understand a federal offense is more than a traffic ticket. Yeah, and see, I was arrested way back when I had videoed an Occupy Asheville march. And I was just videotaping, and it was just a local community. And the reason that, I mean, the first one, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff in behind the whole 9 yards, but it was the willful intent. I did not willfully block the traffic because I didn't block the traffic. The police, where I was filming at the tail end, had already blocked the traffic. And, I had no part of the chaos. I was just a citizen journalist, but it was that willful. So Santa willfully blocked a highway, a federal highway, and yeah, it is a whole lot more intense. So if I were him, I would just take a plea bargain that is going to be offered at the court hearing. Like I said, the reason why I, would say, hey, take it, you did the crime, do the time. And sorry about all those who were not cowards and be willing to be arrested because jail's no fun. I mean, he might have been a guard, but there's a whole big difference between a guard and being a prisoner. So that's a big biggie that is going on. Now, as I had said, this is the birth chart for Santa, putting him into the first house, and we're seeing, he has the sun and Venus pretty much conjunct in the first house. And then he also has Jupiter in there at the 29th degree. So he really likes pretty things. I mean, he really likes and values pretty things. Excuse me, I had to get my drink over on the other side. So, court on that day, and trying to think of it, I think it's a full moon. Oh, where's my notes? Dang it. I think it's like a full moon coming up right after that. Oops. Okay. Full moon on the 8th at 11 a.m. in Taurus at 16 degrees. So there's a full moon. So there's getting rid of, and it's probably going to be a lot of the ego, his ego that he is going to have to be, releasing as to, because, there's going to be a big deflation of his ego. And we also have Saturn in the career, going through his career. And it is in Aquarius. So, Aquarius, the humanitarian, have you learned? And it's going to be a deflation of ego, because he will, he's going to have a choice. And, that's our free will. And, does he or doesn't he want to take the risk of And I'm not quite sure of what the defense could be because, like I said, he willfully did it. So I'm like, unless they find an unknown rule or whatever, that would be hard for a jury to not to convict him. Bottom line, Pluto in the ninth house, his Santa's son is in the ninth house, and learning. There's going to be a lot of learning of lessons. And if you also look at in the aspect of, excuse me, he would make a good religious leader. Well, he does have what it takes to be a religious leader. And if he were traveling, if he were traveling with the gospel and doing the revivals, that would be something that he would be good doing. And also speaking in institutions. It's what I say, it's not all about you, like it's not all about me in different experiences. So when you're looking at it, who in that jail might need his inspiring words? So if he were to look at it in a different manner, yeah, I mean, yeah, I have a hard time seeing how he could not, or how he would get out of doing time for the crime. Unless, what do they say, hell freezes over. That could be. So, financially, Mars in the money house, North Node, he's always looking for, financial gain going towards, and he likes to have fun, unexpected fun. But then it's in Virgo, so it's a little bit critical of, what his idea of having fun is not always everyone else's idea of having fun. And there's probably some friction that occurs in his having fun, his idea of having fun, and it causing friction with others. So what I'm seeing is, yeah, I mean, he's going to be doing time. It's just a matter of how much time and when he's going to be doing it. And if he does not go on the 7th and he postpones it, like I said, Jupiter is going to be coming in through there. And also Neptune, well, Neptune isn't going to be coming back up for a while yet. We still have a few years of Neptune in Pisces. So, the illusions, delusions, and his hopes and wishes. Yeah. I'm not really seeing much of a change. He's going to be, yeah, I mean, he did the crime, and you have to be ready to step up. This is what he was calling everybody cowards for, because people did not want to be arrested. And, you know, what can I say? I'm one of them. I've been there, done that. I don't want to be arrested. I would much prefer to stay on the outside and make a change by taking my government to court and holding them accountable. And, you know, that's the reason that I did join up with the convoy, was to hopefully find an attorney who would represent me and in a court action that really would have an effect on what he's trying to do. Now, there again, if he were to say not guilty, let me take this through the court system. That's something that I had done. And, well, it was 7 months, 5 court hearings to prove I was not guilty. And yeah, I did go to court. Now, he can do it on an appeal and appeal and appeal under, you know, if he's saying it's his First Amendment right of assembly. But even his first right of assembly doesn't mean that he can, you know, assemble on a highway and break the law. So that's just what I'm seeing. And I was going to throw some cards for confirmation. And I guess I should have shuffled in plain view, but I didn't. But on the bottom of it all is the devil, the chaos. You know, putting that beneath him in what he is trying to do. And what is that chaos that he is trying to do? Now, sorry, but I'm not going to be able to show all of these up on the screen. So let me lay these out, and we shall see what is going to be going on. Okay, so out of bad always comes good. So even though he might see this as a bad situation, he has the ability to go through this and come out with a greater spirituality than he has going in. Let me get this out of the way. Come on, what are you in the way for? Okay. So yeah, I mean, he's going to have to give up the reins of the ship, which is something that he really doesn't want to do. But if he does give up the reins to whomever is next, and there again, I don't know who that is, and I can't say exactly that the running of the 1776 movement will be any better than, you know, how Santa's running it. And that's going to be, you know, right here, I'll put this back up again. This is the chart for what's going on in September, but this is the chart of 1776. And like I said, as long as Santa is in charge of it, this is what it will be. Now with the new LLC, um, I don't know all the details in that, and that could be a whole new, but as long as, it could have come out of, but as long as Santa is in control, it is what it is. And we have Mercury going retrograde, and Mercury communications, electrical, mechanical, breakdown, going back into the fourth house, the home. Well, how many times has it changed already? And Santa's is in green on here, and you see Mars, Pluto, and Uranus. Well, under Santa's, how many times has the home changed? How many times has it been an unusual of what people think of as a home? So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, but it pretty much is what it is. Santa did the crime. Santa's gonna have the time. They're gonna want to make um, a what do you call that? Symbol, scapegoat. No, not scapegoat, but a symbol of. But yeah, Santa will come out much better than when he went in. That's a definite one. That one. He's just not going to be ready to give up the ship, and that'll be the hardest part. And if he, like I said, if he postpones it, he's just going to get more time, and that would be more ego based if he just gives up, because it's going to cost a lot of money to have an attorney to defend him when he is guilty. Not that it can't be done, but it will cost a whole lot of money. And, I mean, hey, he willfully wanted to do it. He's the one who had said about people going to jail. And, well, why are you fighting it? If you're the good Christian and you can't lie, well, then why are you saying that you're not guilty when you willfully committed a crime? That's the same thing as having people in camp who are not supposed to be there by court order, and you're allowing. So whether he, when he comes out, decides that he wants to create pedo cults or pedo communities, I should say. Sorry about the cult, but if he wants to create communities for someone who he deems as, well, maybe that should be something that he considers doing when he gets out. And ministering to a certain class of people who others have thrown by the wayside. But yeah, it's going to be quite interesting as what his. I'm hoping that it's still streaming, peoples. It's saying that I just started streaming a minute ago, so it looks like it's still streaming. But we'll see. Anybody else have any more questions? No? Well, I think that I'm about done. Now, hindsight is foresight, so you could always go back over and look at my past predictions. I have my predictions for astrology, my soul charts, up on my YouTube channel. So, whether you want to go and check out a past one, and like I said, hindsight is foresight, and see if you can understand what I'm talking about in past ones, or look at the September and understand that forewarned is forearmed. And yeah, I really should pay a little bit more attention to the stars, the planets, what's going on, because we know that things are changing and things are changing very quickly. So it's going to be a difficult one. And yeah, it's going to be a challenging future, and I know I would rather be outside the bars than inside the bars. So I guess that's about it, and I will see you. Love you. Bye. Until the next time.